Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 222. Try two.
I was going to call it 221B, but I thought that'd be, because,
Oh, like
Sherlock's
Sherlock
address. Yeah.
Holmes. That's awesome.
Anyway, so
Wait,
you are,
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
and I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. We are trying a different way of recording. This is I don't know. We've tried so many combinations, and we have had a lot of technical difficulties, and we apologize, and we're trying to find a way to make it work. More information on that soon. But if for some reason the video freezes, or it's a funny color, or whatever, I'm sorry, and I'm trying, trust me. But just pretend it's an audio podcast if that happens,
Yeah, just turn off the video or play us in the background and go to town.
We want it to be great for you, but being in two different places makes it very difficult, so.
Especially Skype can be a little bit grumpy with other outside programs.
Yeah, with third-party software, any third-party software that you buy to record your Skype video calls, anytime it updates or Skype updates, there's a conflict. And that happens all the time, so.
Pretty constant.
Yeah, we're working on it. Just bear with us.
Awesome. So I am almost done with this row, so I'm going to go first. I am knitting on some slippers. They are the MUKLUK Mukluk slippers. They are knitting pure and simple pattern, which are some of my favorite patterns, especially for beginners. I think my very first sweater I ever knit was one of Diane Susie,
Susie, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's the person who writes those, and she's really sweet. But anyway, I'm knitting on some slippers. Here's the second one. It looks so silly. It's actually like that when it's a slipper. But when it's done, when it grows up, it's going to look like this.
Yay!
So this is the first one. That's the second one. The second one's getting done tonight. So where I am right now is I'm at this garter stitch down here, and then it'll take me like another hour and a half to do this cool short rows at the top, and then it's knitting the round for the top part. These look huge because they are going to be felted a little bit to make them fit Jessica's feet. So the way I modified this pattern is I am using size 9 needles instead of size 7s, and I am holding worsted doubled. This is Cascade 220 paints that I got from Webs. It is color number 9722, and it is on sale at Webs, so if you like the way it looks, you might want to go check it. I think it was like $7 a ball versus like $10 a ball,
and
something like that.
You're using Cascade 220 versus 220 Superwash because you want to felt it, right?
Yeah, we want to felt it, or I want to felt it. I'm also now speaking in the plural because I am a queen. So that's the first thing on my needles. The second thing on my needles, which is stored in my awesome Bling Your String bag, and this was my first club shipment for her this time around.
I love that print.
And I love it. And all the fabric, it also comes with these awesome glittery, sparkly stitch markers. And she still has openings in her club. She's going to leave it open till the end of the month. This is what the inside looks like. And everything is customized to the individual. So you fill out a survey. And I told her that I would rather light something on fire than have Little House on the Prairie prints. So I got a very cool, modern floral print. I'm in her Botanics Club. She also has like a cartoon one, a geek one.
I'm in the geek one.
There's a ton of stuff that she has available, so check out Bling Your String. And what's in here is a sock, because I have to have 8 million socks on the needles at once. This is Dream Color Everlasting, which is a 9-ply, and I had a tag yesterday, and I don't know where it's gone now. Anyway, there it is. It is a 9-ply superwash Australian merino wool that is spun and hand-dyed in the U.S. It's actually dyed in the Chicago area. It is 400 yards, and like I said, it's got 9 plies, but it has no nylon. So but lots and lots of twist. So it's a very tightly spun. In fact, so I watch little kids after work because their parents are still working, and one of the little girls, Sienna, she always wants to help me knit, so she sits in my lap and she wraps the yarn around.
Mm-hmm.
But the other day I'm doing ribbing on this, so she can't really, but she's upset with me over, but whatever, she'll get over it. So she was pulling the yarn out of my bag, and she goes, "Lemon, there's twist," and there's lots of twist, and you can kind of see it twists back up on itself a little bit as you knit with it. So there's lots of twist to it, and we talked about twist, and because that's what we do with 5-year-olds. We educate them. So this is Dream in Color Everlasting. It's and this is their new blend, and it is in the Wilderness colorway, 705. So I'm enjoying knitting with it. I was originally going to do a baby vertebrae out of it because, hello, I love Fat Squirrel and I need to be involved in everything she does.
So a mama vertebrae.
No, she's doing everything vertebrae.
Oh.
Like you can knit a baby, you can knit a toddler.
She's doing it as a knit along. I thought you meant to copy the one she had done for herself.
No, I really like the one that she's wearing. Like I don't know that I have the guts to pull it off though, because it looks good on her. But we have different builds. So, like, I don't even know how to describe that. We are different people.
I can just picture Amy Beth just roaring with laughter at that comment.
I love Amy Beth.
I do too.
I need to have her bring that sweater next year if she comes to SSK so that I can wear it.
Yeah.
And that solves all my problems. So anyway. This has lots of nice dark colors, too, which sometimes people get weird about babies in dark colors. But I love a baby in a good navy with olive and pops of purple. It makes me happy. I also love a baby in black, so whatever.
I love hand-knit gifts, so I don't know that I would complain regardless.
Oh, the lady
of the
who I knit the sweater for her third child and I posted on the bowling ball, she had her today.
Oh, good.
So I got to see a picture at work. It was very cute. Anyway. Oh, and I worked on... See, this is what what happens when we record after my work and I have to go back to work in like 25 minutes. So you get all the scattered nonsense. This is my jackaroo. It is a brown sweater. It got like 2 or 3 more inches left to go. It needs 5 more inches or so. So then the back will be done. It is knit in pieces. Which I really highly recommend if you're it's very tempting to do the top-down raglan as your first sweater because there's no seaming. I
don't think people should be afraid of seaming. I mean...
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And actually, the seams, A, add stability.
Yeah.
But B, they also give you the ability, this is a huge gauge swatch. That's what this is. It's a huge gauge swatch. And if it doesn't work out, after I wash it, I can add an inch on each side of the front. And look, I have 2 more inches. Or if it's way too big, I can do a size down on the front. And then it'll fit perfectly.
Yeah.
So, seamed stuff gives you the flexibility to some degree to change things about a little bit. So, this is a merino silk blend from Australia. It came from a good friend's stash, and I'm knitting it on size 6 needles. The socks, I forgot to say about the socks, I'm trying new needles, and I'll give you guys my feedback on those next week after I've done more than 6 rows with them. And I told you nods on those, so yeah, that's it for me. That's all I'm knitting on, those 3 items, which are now all in my lap.
And we're re-recording because we had issues yesterday, and we're rushing a little because Laura's got to go and take score at a volleyball game.
Keep score,
Okay.
All right. I get to keep score and run the scoreboard at the same time. So this is me.
Is a lot of responsibility.
This is going to be totally epically fail.
So the only thing that I'm actively working on right this second is one project because the thing I was working on 2 yesterday, but I finished one. So this is the one that I'm working on. It is a pair of socks out of Yarn vs. Zombies in the Sunrise colorway. And it's in her Bite Back base, which is a BFL nylon blend. So it's kind of a light steely gray with creamsicle orange. Sorry, the lighting's a little weird tonight. I'm doing these on the Knit Picks Nova Circulars 2.25 millimeters, and I'm doing it as a true afterthought, so I'll just keep on going and then snip yarn later where I want the heel.
Yeah.
These will probably go with me. I'm doing some traveling later this week, which we'll talk about later in the episode.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I've worked on this week. I also still have the Axis mitts out of the Indie String Falkland that will
You
also...
should finish those because it might be cold where we're going.
Yeah, well, I plan on taking them with me, so we'll see. I did finish something, even though it's on the show notes, it shows it's a work in progress, because yesterday it was a work in progress, but I finished
Oh,
it.
you finished Eased!
Yes.
Yes!
This is Bulky Eased by Alicia Plummer. It is just a great, big, comfortable sweater. It's knit out of Barocco Remix. I did do the drawstring collar.
Yeah, you were thinking about switching it to a hood.
Yeah, but I didn't. Because I didn't
I want to
feel
see
like
it on. Can you try it on?
thinking about the math. No, because I'm tethered by earbuds, and I need to block it, too.
Okay.
Well, I'm machine washing it and throwing it in the dryer.
Ooh.
It is a little big, especially under the arms, which Jasmine went into on Knit More Girls about armhole pooch, and it was a top-down raglan, so I kind of expected that to some degree, and it's not meant to be like a
Is it
very
increased
well-fitted.
every other row?
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of every 3. So I'm gonna throw it in the dryer, washer and dryer this evening. It was a super easy knit, very fast once I actually was working on it, because it's knit on size 10s and 11s. So, it went really quick for me. And that's it, as far as knitting goes. I did sew a couple things, but I'll go after Laura shows her FO.
Okay, so I have an FO. It is the
Adorable.
Polaris. I'm glad someone thinks so. It is the Polaris hat by Alex Tinsley. It was made using Indie String Superior Worsted. That is not the tag that I'm looking for. It looks like this. And it's 100% Falkland and 200 yards per skein. And I used probably around 150, 60. So I have a little bit left over, which is awesome. I love that. So let me put it on. My hair is already kind of weird because I wore Shrek ears all day. So,
Like you do.
look, my costume, I didn't have to buy anything today. It all came from my house. So it has this cute little welted brim, which then goes up into lines of yarn overs with decreases beside them. And at the very, very top, there is, oh, that's attractive. There is a star. So the stitch definition of the yarn was really, really nice. The star is made by both yarn overs and lines of decreases. And you can see with the decreases especially, I got a very nice stitch definition. I knit this on size 6s. The pattern called for size 7s. It was a paid for pattern because it was part of a club. And it was a hat that was done in only one size. There's only one size, and a lot of people were saying in their notes on Ravelry that it was big. So I decided, since I'm already a loose knitter, to go down a needle size, and it's still, I mean, this is me pulling on it, so that's definitely an exaggeration.
Well, but still, you want a hat to be snug, so you're mimicking the effect of it being snug.
But there's definitely some room to grow on it. Now I can slouch it, and it looks a little bit better. If my hair was down, it would look much better. It was for a bit yesterday. So if I was to knit it again, I would use DK weight yarn and cast
So
on
you're
the same
going
number.
down a yarn size.
I am.
from the
I would go
pattern.
down a yarn size, and I would go down at least a needle size from the 6s, which was already a needle size. So 2 needle sizes down to a 5, maybe even go down to a 4. So, because the cast on number is still pretty high for, well, you know what, the fives would probably work with a DK weight yarn. I was thinking of something I designed recently out of that for something I can't tell you about. So that's full of awesomeness. Um, so it's, yeah, it's big. So going down to a DK weight and going down a
Needle size.
size from the sixes, so down to a fives would probably work better. Maybe even down to fours, depending on your gauge. So that's it, because the Yarniverse could stretch quite a bit more. But that's it. Now my hair is all awesomely pretty for the volleyball game. But I
Yeah.
like the pattern, like that star top's really, really pretty.
I do like how that's built into the crown of it.
But that means that it's very limited in your numbers because that's built into the crown.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to play with it more. So, and I'm just not willing to do that. But I really enjoyed the Falkland yarn, and it'll be a gift for a friend in little arms. So,
You had another small FO.
I did, and I still don't have it. So, how about I show it next week?
Okay.
I just made a little pouch for my earbuds.
Yeah.
Because they're going on a trip with me. So, and they need their own little home. Obviously.
Okay.
That's how we roll. So
I
you already said your FO. Now you have an FO. That's awesome.
I do, and I have some sewing I'll show real quick.
Yeah, I want to see.
Being cognizant of the time that we have. So, there went my phone. Alright, so the first thing is a tunic. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm traveling later this week, and I'm all about comfort, and have recently discovered a love of leggings and comfortable things. So I've been having a difficult time finding tunics or long enough shirts that I can wear them with leggings, because I need them to cover my behind. Like, if you don't, that's great. I need them to cover my behind. So, and I've been having a difficult time finding ones that I liked and that fit me. So I looked up some how-tos on Pinterest, and I sewed one, and I'm going to do a couple more. It's nothing fancy, just a very simple tunic made out of 4 long rectangles, and you wear it with a belt. So it's done. It'll go with me on the trip.
And that's of like a knit fabric?
It is. It's not quite stretchy enough to be jersey, but it's knit, yeah. And I did bias edging, and I learned all kinds of fancy things.
You are so fancy.
So I did that, and then the quilts that I'd started for my friend Ro and put away a couple months ago because I'd messed something up and it was frustrating me a lot. I felt guilty about it, so I pulled it out, and I'm going to have to unplug my earphones to step back to show you. So if there's a little bit of feedback or echo, it won't last but for just a minute, so just bear with us, okay? Alright. Okay. So I finished the top, but it's still I still have to add the backing and the quilt, the batting in between to make the quilt sandwich. But this is...
And the side stuff. What's that called? What's the stuff that you add on the side? That's really pretty.
It's large. You like my pajamas?
I do. They're very attractive.
Okay, let me plug back in. Ooh.
So, no, but seriously, what's it called? The stone that sandwiches it all together?
Basting.
No, not the actual sewing.
No, that's when
strip
you're...
of fabric that goes over the side.
Binding?
Yes.
Oh.
And
okay.
bound.
Yeah. Well, I've got to baste it first, which is my least favorite part of the whole process.
Isn't that where you, like, put the big safety pins in?
Yes. You need a huge, empty, flat area.
Uh-huh.
And space. You can do it on a kitchen table with, like, long, flat pieces of wood stretched out. It's still, you need a lot of space. So, it's not going to happen this week. Maybe not even this month, because I got so much going on. But I got the top finished, which was nice.
That's awesome.
Um, and so I sewed it's all made out of jelly rolls. It's nothing fancy,
I think it's pretty.
but it's a quilt top for Row that I'm sewing together on a machine that I bought from Row.
Oh,
So it's nice to be reminded of her that way. So
yeah.
anyway, I the only spinning I've done this week is it's very little, and I didn't even bring it down to show you because it's brown. It's like there's nothing pretty about it. I finished processing the little bit of cordell I had left, and put away my drum carder, and that's it. That's pretty much all I've got spinning wise. But you got some pretty spinning.
I do. I spun some wool pergy bats up that I gotten from her when I went to go to Chicago to teach. Sorry for that. The stitch markers landed much harder than I thought they would. So this is from Woolpergy. It's my good friend Becca, and she's actually doing an update on the first, and she's doing like pumpkin bats.
Yeah, I saw with the green and the.
And she's
orange.
also doing glow in the dark roll eggs.
That's pretty cool.
On a blending board. I know. So this is a drop swingle because she does these stupid autocorrects, which I absolutely adore.
I love that series. That's a great idea.
And so these are her dumpling bets. There were 2 in here, and it was a total of 3 ounces. Inside were merino, soy silk, angelina, wool nets, which are like little bits and bobs that you'll see, sari silk, and silk noil. So I spun 2 on my Lendrum. And when I watch NCIS tomorrow, I am going to ply them in between packing, as you do. So that'll empty off 2 bobbins, and that will be awesome. Her bats are really nicely made, and she puts a lot of time and effort into her stuff, and it shows. And she's a good friend, so yeah. And she'll be at SSK again.
She will, in Jelby's booth.
So yeah, so she's always awesome, and we love her stuff.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
That's really what I've been spinning. I've been making bats, floofiness, out of border. This is like been run through once, and I've been having to run them through twice. So to blend them a little bit more. So that's sitting here waiting to go through a second time because I have like 4 ounces of fiber ready for Spinzilla, and Leslie has like 4 pounds ready for Spinzilla.
Almost 4 pounds, yeah. But I just discovered I really enjoy processing most wool. Like, I probably won't buy another fine fleece. Like, I probably won't buy a merino or a cormo or anything too fine, just because I like the longer wool. Like, I'll still buy that stuff, but I'll buy it in finished form, not in fleece form.
You'll buy it in top?
Top, yeah.
Or in bats, or in...
Roving. Yeah, so I like the longer wools. I may purchase a fleece at Rhinebeck. If I do, it'll probably be a Romney or something about that staple length, because I enjoyed that the most.
The border luster I really am enjoying, FYI. It's a nice...
I don't think
long... I should bring you some border luster. Remind me. I'll throw it in my bag.
Okay, so we have a question from Tahoe Girl.
We do, and I answered it on the board, but I'll answer it again, and I want to know your answer too. So, it says, Lala, you mentioned that you thought Sock Architecture, I bought it, was one of the top 3 sock books, and I'm curious what you think the other best sock books are. So do you have some favorite sock books?
I think it really depends on what you're looking for. Like,
that's true.
If you're looking for some incredibly complex and intricate designs, then you need to go for Cookie A or the Czarina of Socks or...
Sock Innovation is the Cookie A book, correct?
Yeah, or Knit Sock Love.
Yeah. Which Leslie test knit for.
Yeah. I would say the interweave, the one that came in a box. 25 best patterns. I think it was one of the ones you recommended. I like that one a lot. I like Wendy's book a lot, especially for and that's Wendy Johnson's toe up socks. I don't remember the name of the title of the book.
So I just happen to have some books here. So I did this yesterday. So Leslie was talking about. I don't have the interweave one because it wasn't in my top, but Socks from the Toe Up.
Yeah, there we go.
Which we've reviewed previous on the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
is a great toe-up sock book. It gives you a lot of both technical information,
Mm-hmm.
but also has some lovely patterns in it, and very clearly written patterns. So I'll show you my favorite of the patterns.
Is it because you knit it?
Yes, shut up. Let me find it. Actually, I've knit, I'm gonna say around 60% of the patterns in this book. So, because I knit these. These are one of my favorite pairs of socks. And those are the lace and cable. No, those aren't lace and cable. Hold on. I'm at the top of a. Yeah, those are lace and cable socks. So this is a great book, and Wendy's a great person, and she's got tons of resources on her page. One of mine was the Knitter's Book of Socks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just because it has, and we've reviewed this on the show as well, it just has a lot of information about what makes a good sock yarn,
Mm-hmm.
and construction of yarn versus wear, as well as some gorgeous patterns in it. Those are super cute. So that's definitely my top one. My other one I can't find, which is now going to drive me crazy. Lucy Neepy published a book, and it might be out of print now, called Cool Socks, Warm Feet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have not seen Lucy Neepy's DVDs on sock knitting, and now I think she does them in digital downloads as well, or have taken a class from her, she is someone that I would always pay to take classes from.
Absolutely.
She's one of my, oh my gosh, she's coming to town. I need to, you will get something out of her
Absolutely.
class.
If you've been knitting 20 years, you'll get something out of her class. She's one that we would love to have at SSK, but she takes a break every year, and it's always during our event.
It's July,
yeah. So I don't begrudge her the break. She travels a ton, but she's one I'd love to eventually have.
She has a great DVD series that goes through all kinds of different cast-ons and bind-offs and
very
a lot
clear
of
photography and videography.
Yeah, so she's definitely up there as well. There's tons of good books out there. It's just what you're looking for. I am very partial to the Ann Budd, or I'm sorry, not Ann Budd. Ann Budd, the one by Interweave is also very good, but Nancy Bush, the vintage knitting books,
Yes.
have some great classic patterns, but also a lot of history of sock knitting, which history major on my end. So there's lots of great information in those as well. There's a ton of stuff, and Kat Bordy's books are amazing as well. So that's a lot more than top 3, but there's some good information in a lot of those. I tend to go towards more techniques like how do you do this type books versus here's a pretty pattern.
Yeah.
So
I tend to get derailed by the pretty patterns, but I end up going back towards the information.
Yeah, and we actually have another sock book this week to review. And this is Sockupied. The wonderful people over at Interweave Knits sent this to us.
Yep.
It retails for $24.99 US, $27.99 Canadian. And what this book is there have been 10 issues of the e-magazine Sockupied.
Yep.
Which e-magazine formats are not my favorite when they're online like that. It's not something. Can you download it now? I don't even remember.
It's almost like its own program, so it's hard to transport, in my opinion. I don't particularly love the way that the digital copies work in this instance, but they do still have beautiful patterns in them.
And they've got tons of information in them. So they decided to publish a book of the top 10, and you can download it because it says that on the back. And the actual magazine has a lot of interactive videos and stuff like that.
And a lot of bonus content, yeah.
Yeah, because we reviewed the first one when it first came out. So this book is 20 of the projects that were in Sockupied, plus a lot of techniques as well. Yeah. And I like right off the bat, Ann's To Go socks.
Yep, I had those tabbed too.
They are a top down, and on my little project notes, You see, I have notes. I'm so fancy this week. It says top down, great beginner socks. And I truly believe that. If you're just getting started on knitting socks and want to knit some fingering socks, I really feel like this would be a good thing to start off with. Like I said earlier, they're top down, but they've got lots and lots of great, I mean, it's just a great, easy top down beginner sock pattern.
Yeah.
I really like the next pattern to the Azuria socks. And those are toe up, and they're meant for knitters with bigger calves because they can stretch because of that lace quite a bit.
Yeah, and they're ribbing all the way down, it looks like.
Yep. So, and another thing that I really like about this book is it's not just like, here's one size in these socks.
Mm-hmm.
It has at least 3 different sizes per pattern. So that one's shown in Bermuda Teal, which is a dreaming color, classy, or not classy, smushy, I believe. And just, it's got a lot of stretch to it. So those would fit a lot of people. The charts are nice and clear. There's notes with every pattern.
I like the speed bump socks.
Yes.
They have some ribbing built in with stockinette to really give the sock a lot of stretch.
Mm-hmm.
They are also knit top down out of Patton's Croy in the rag stripes. And it talks a lot about shaping for the gusset and the foot in that pattern.
For sure. I like the carré and chevron socks, which can be both top down or toe up. So you can kind of pick your poison on that one. And she even talks about modifying stitch patterns at one point in the book from top down to toe up if you want to switch to accommodate the different ways of working.
I like the Emerging Cable Socks by Stephanie Bold. I think that it's got a little bit of, I say a little, it's got a nice cabled panel on the leg and an alternating one on the foot that actually builds in the gusset, which I think is really cool. It gives it a lot of interest without a ton. It's not all over patterning, but it's enough that it keeps you interested. And I think that it gives it a really nice flow, the way that the decreases and gusset is built into the sock.
Kat Bordy, like we said earlier, is the queen of getting your socks to fit, and she's got her Flutterby socks in here, which can be top down or toe up. The pattern doesn't really, it's not my favorite pattern of hers, but it does have written directions for the Sweet Tomato heel. And the only way before you were able to get those was to buy her ebook. And it's got lots and lots of pictures for the Sweet Tomato heel and how that works. So if that's something you're interested in, it is included in this book. So there's different types of heels. And she does like lots of Kat's advice, schematics.
Yeah.
We took a class from Kat last year. No, 2 years ago now, huh?
A little over a year at TNNA.
Yeah, and she knows her stuff with socks.
Yeah. I like the section in here by Terry Morris. It's Stranded Color Knitting and Socks, and it goes over in detail a lot of the problems that you have when you knit socks with 2 colors, which definitely bit me. I knit a pair of socks in 2 colors, and they ended up way too small. And this has several tricks on how to make sure that you have enough stretch and that your floats are nice and even, and weaving in the ends or doing duplicate stitching color work. It's a nice 4-page section on how to make that work for you.
Going along with that, there's other sections in here like getting your cast on for toe-up socks. There's which is like 6 pages. There's like 6 pages of different bind-offs. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, there's sock
these
conversions.
are hand-drawn illustrations. They're not. They didn't take pictures of everything. It's a lot of hand-drawn illustrations. So if that's something that bothers you, that's something to be aware of as well. It's the similar illustrations to what would be in the back of Interweave Knits if you've ever purchased it.
Yeah.
So, same company.
I like the Muscadine socks too by Star Athena. These are in sport weight.
I do too.
I appreciate that they included some sport weight socks in as well, because sometimes you want something a little faster than your typical fingering weight socks.
Did you already talk about Hunter's pattern?
I have not, no,
I
because we're
love the
short on time.
caterpillar socks.
Oh, yes, I love those.
Those are really pretty. And those are knit from the top down, and there's lots of charts that go with them, which can be very intimidating, but they're not complex charts.
I do
So,
like the Arpads Cross. Um, they're basically simple stockinette with what looks like duplicate stitch on them. Oh no, it's not. It's actually vertically carried strands. So
cool.
it's kind of like Intarsia, sort of. But it's something I might try because it's not too intimidating looking. So that's one that I'm interested in giving a try. That one's by Laura Lee Beltman.
And the very last kind of essay in here is Save Your Socks
Yep.
by Uni Jing. And it is all about different darning techniques,
Mm-hmm.
which is oftentimes overlooked in sock books. So I'm really, I mean, there's 4 pages just of that.
Yeah.
So there's lots of information on darning. If you are not one to just throw socks in the trash can and say, oh darn,
Wendy Johnson.
to actually, if you're willing to actually take the time and fix them, that's in there as well. So this is Sockupied, 20 sock projects to blow your mind. I just totally made that up.
To satisfy
And
your obsession.
And it retails for $24.99. It should be their tagline though. Oh my. So that's a great book, and we thank Interweave Press for sending that our way. What we are reading, yes, I'm still reading the False Prince series. I'm on the last one. It just came in from the library. I got it Saturday, and I also picked up, they had Son of Nobody by Sharon Kenyon, which is like a Dark Hunter series. I think it's this is like book 30, and
Oh.
it's setting up another book, but the main character is just, after, like, there was one before this called Styx that was like totally awesome. So after, I mean, with long series like that where they're kind of standalone books, it can be hit or miss. It was worth getting from my public library for free though.
Yeah.
And the 3 hours it took me to read it. So, not too bad. And you've been reading some what?
Well, I've been listening to The Dragon Reborn, which is the Wheel of Time series, book 3. I do not know whether I'll continue with the series or not because it's gotten to the point where every other word is light or blood and ashes. You know, that's their curse words in their like vernacular, and it's just like every 20th word is that, and it just gets old. And then I'm reading Into the Fire by Lindsay Fairley and Lindsay Pogue, and last night I started Quest, which is the 4th Septimus Heap book.
There's a spin-off series. Did you know that?
Of Septimus Heap?
Yeah.
No, I did not because we haven't finished these yet. Kobe's on book 5 and I'm on book 4.
First one just came out or is about to come out.
That's good. He always needs more stuff to read.
Yeah, I thought I would mention that to you.
For the drawings, I'll do those and pull winners and post that in the thread.
Cool.
We're just a little short on time, so I want to get through what we have left.
Yeah. We have a new giveaway, which is the Eternity Ranch giveaway.
Yes. And
I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, it's Tammy, who is the proprietor of this shop, sent this to me. She actually sent it to me before SSK, and it's just taken that long to get it on the calendar for giveaways, which is a lovely thing, lovely problem to have. This is 463 yards of a sock weight, which is a merino nylon, and it's called Big Sky. And her shop is Eternity Ranch Knits on Etsy. So I'll start a new thread, and the prompt will be either your favorite fall memory or your favorite color from her shop. Either one of those questions.
Cool.
So I'll put that up in the shop. We have active knit-alongs right now. The Alice, ALLIS knit-along, with all proceeds from that pattern sales going to help our friend Lynn's niece and cover her medical bills as she's recovering from a bone marrow transplant.
Yep.
We have a Halloween craft all the things along.
Yep.
So any handcraft that you can tie in, make it work. and then you can enter on the thread one
Yeah, you
entry
do
per
have to
finished
explain
object.
how it works. You can't just post something.
Well, you have to find a way to tie it in.
Yes.
So if you're knitting dishcloths, you can say, I'll use these to wash out all the dishes from that hold the candy for Halloween. Like, you can make it work.
You can make it work, but you do have to give some kind of explanation.
Okay.
You just can't post a picture of dishcloths.
Project Sweater Chest, we do not have enough time to go into that this week. We'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah.
And the last thing we wanted to mention was SSK, the 2015 entries. They close tomorrow, so by the time this goes up, you may have the rest of the day on the 30th of September. I'll close that midnight. On midnight tomorrow night, I'll close that.
I'm adding something to the show notes.
Because Laura and I will be traveling, we may not have time to do notifications this weekend. It may be first of next week before we do notifications.
Someone asked, and I said the 10th of October. That gives
it'll definitely be out by the 10th, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But we may get to it earlier. It just depends. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But you'll know by the 10th of October. We automatically put anybody that doesn't get in on the wait list, and we notify you by email. If you want to be removed from the wait list, that's fine. I understand that. Just email us back and let us know.
Yeah.
You have Beck's shop on here.
My sister's Etsy shop opens October 1st.
Oh, cool. So Wednesday.
When it gets opened, I will. She's if you've seen the yarn chicken bags, or she did a Kickstarter. Their shop's going to formally open on Etsy.
Is it?
And then she's
called Gusler Designs.
Yeah, it'll be linked on the Gusler Design website, and I'll link that in the show notes. But she'll have that officially up October 1st, so I'm super proud of her. We will announce, so we've sent the vendors of SSK their contracts, and as soon as we get them all back, we will announce who the vendors are.
Yep.
What else was I going to say about that? I don't know. So that's coming along. Leslie and I will be traveling this week, so we might be out of pocket, and we're actually going to see Jessica
and Lynn,
so
and
all
Stacy.
the mods will be gone.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot Jessica was a mod for a minute. Yeah,
Beck will be around, so if there's like a super
our
emergency,
group's not too rowdy. It's all right.
issue, let Becky know. Yeah, something's gonna happen. Although y'all should have like a party in the Knit Girls group. That chat room, go to town. While we're out of town, we are going to yarn school. So we will let you know how that is. It's our first time ever going. It is in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, which makes me a little bit nervous because I'm driving and Leslie's flying. My boss gave me a fourth of Wednesday off. So 2 hours on Wednesday, that's all I asked for.
Yeah.
And then all of Thursday and all of Friday, and I will be making the 10-hour drive back on Sunday. So that'll be super fun.
Yep. But it'll be totally worth it because it's several days.
So much
people,
fun.
Especially like Jessica, we got to saw at SSK. We got to see at SSK, which is great. But we don't get a lot of one-on-one time with her because we're hosting an event. Lynn, we haven't seen in almost 2 years.
First SSK?
No, December after that when we went to Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
We saw her then. And then Stacy of Tempted, we haven't seen since the first SSK because she's had a lot going on. So we're stoked about that. We're going to try to record a little bit while we're there. It won't go up until we get back anyway. So. Yeah.
So next week will be a little bit late probably. Yeah. Maybe Tuesday.
Probably Monday night or Tuesday.
But the good news is we'll be together. So... Yeah.
So we won't have any of these video issues. Yay! Did you see my arm fat just jiggle? Woo!
Hello. It's on the side of my screen. That's awesome. I've been doing like spirit hands all day long. So my kids are like, we can tell you're leaving because you're really happy.
Did you go, haha, suckers?
No, but I got so I ordered a new book truck and new stools for the library, and they came in today.
Is the truck like the cart?
Yeah, like the cart.
Okay, all right.
So I have a brand new bright red book cart and these stools that you can kick and they slide and then you step on them and they go and they scooch down. They're very cool. because now you can just picture me kicking stools across my library.
Yeah, taking out a student,
Because no, that's what happened. Actually, we almost took the bowling pin off my desk and did step stool bowling. But then we thought we'd get in trouble. Actually, the adult, Miss Linneman, thought we might get in trouble. So.
All right. Well, you have to be off for volleyball.
Yes, I do right now.
So, hope this recorded.
Yes, and I'm gonna go ahead and dump my whatever I saved in Dropbox real fast, just in case you need that.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. I got it on my side.
Okay.
You guys have a great week, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye y'all.